All right. Huge welcome. Thanks for coming or being here anyway for the inaugural podcast. It's kind of exciting, a little overwhelming, but hopefully we'll get through this together. Huh? So over the course of the last, month or so, I've been kind of preparing for this podcast and what it was going to look like. I'm going to turn this up just a tad bit. There we go. Well, so I've been preparing for this podcast and what it was going to look like and setting up the studio. And obviously this first one is just audio. Excuse me. But in doing so, even though I posted multiple times on social media, kind of with a reasoning behind it and what we were doing and what I was hoping to accomplish, had several people reach out and just say, "Hey, Russ, what is this podcast thing all about? What are you planning on talking about?" So I just figured I'd take this first episode to kind of tell you guys where I was coming from and how I got here and where I'm at. And then hopefully how that can benefit you. So a couple years ago, I started going to a life coach that was based out of Australia named Sarah Griffiths, who is phenomenal, by the way. She is an RTT therapist or coach. RTT is rapid transformational technique. It's essentially a type of hypnotherapy. So I worked with her and very quickly started to unravel some things that I just, had no idea that was even there. And as I did, and as I started becoming a little bit more aware of myself and the way that I was feeling and what I was feeling and where I was coming from, I very quickly realized that I needed some serious help. So I pursued it more aggressively to include some psychedelic treatments and stuff that I did through Mind Bloom and some other things to help really rapidly transform myself. And man, it did. About a year ago, last summer, my parents were in town, and when they were, and my mother looked at me and said, "Russ, I don't even recognize you. You're a completely different person." That's when I realized how much it had affected me and how much it had done to really, truly heal me from the inside out. I continued that process up until this January, and in January, I made the decision, it actually may have been November, I made the decision to get certified as a coach myself and try to help people. I found myself evangelizing about trauma to quite a few people, and then realized that if I really truly wanted to help, I needed to put my money where my mouth was. So I went and pursued a certification through the Trauma-Informed School of Positive Psychology in the UK. And I'm finishing up that certification now, should be done within the next couple of weeks here. And then from there, I should be able to start working with clients one-on-one and continuing to educate myself about trauma and its effects and how to leverage your nervous system and the knowledge of your nervous system in order to not have those rapid reactions that you have that are trauma-based reactions and they just come out of nowhere. So it really has made a massive difference in my life. It has also kind of upended some things too. There's some things that I never thought I would be able to do and, pull the trigger on, so to speak, that I've been able to do recently that are going to make my continued healing incredible. So this is both my attempt to educate others about what trauma really is, how it works, and what it does in our brains and our nervous system and in our body. It is unbelievable when you start unraveling the ball of yarn of trauma. It's unbelievable how many aspects of your life it can dig its fingers into. It really does run your entire life. So hopefully with some of the information that you learn in this podcast and in the subsequent podcasts, will help to help make those things evident to you. And then through that process will maybe help facilitate some of your healing and your growth, whether that be through taking classes or educating yourself further on certain topics that we talk about, We'll be talking to several practitioners and their trauma-based or somatic-based coaching practices. For example, breath work is one. Sarah Set is another. RTT, obviously, hypnotherapy, brain spotting. We're going to have some practitioners on here that can talk to you directly, tell you what these things are and the benefits of them, how they work, and then maybe get you facilitated so that you can do this yourself. So my ultimate goal is to make the information available to as many people as possible and the modalities that have worked for me, as well as make those modalities available to you with practitioners that I trust and that you can trust. So thanks again for listening. It's an honor to be on here. It's a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to, like I said, we'll get through it together. So thanks again for listening. And the next episode will be on video and we'll have that out in about a week. We're going to shoot for getting one of these out per week. So of course, once again, thanks for listening and coming over and checking us out. Hopefully this piqued your interest and you'll listen to some future podcasts and learn some things about trauma and really how to turn your life around. It's once you start learning these things, you can't unlearn them. And it is impactful. It is powerful to start understanding why you feel the way you feel. Not only why in regards to the trigger itself or the trauma itself, but why it makes you feel in your body the way that you feel in your body. And once you can start breaking these things down to chemicals and responses that are autonomic in your body that you have no control over, it takes a little bit of that pressure off of you, of knowing that you're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect and you never will be perfect. And it's not your fault. 90% of these things are beliefs that were created in our childhood when we were very, very young. And you didn't have any responsibility in that. So thanks again for being here, guys. I can't wait to develop this community because that's ultimately what's really going to make a huge difference in the world is community. And once the community starts to learn these things, I think it's going to make a massive difference. So thanks for being part of that and look forward to talking to you next week. Take care.